everybody. My name is Ryan Wilson. I work at Intela, and I'm going to be covering processes for building affiliate websites profitably and quickly. Can I see a show of hands just how many people have actually built a website based on an affiliate or arbitrage model? Okay, cool. So you guys have some experience too. All right. What I'm going to cover today is kind of a sort of a simple concept, but it's something that I think is really key to being able to launch these products successfully. And the concept is basically that no matter where you sort of get the inspiration for your product and how well you think it'll work, it's not always going to, basically. So we live in Intela's in Colorado, and this is a scene from Colorado. The Maroon Bells. It's close to Aspen, and it's a scene not too dissimilar from Pikes Peak, where the poem then song "America the Beautiful" was written in the 1800s. Purple mountain majesties, all that. That song's obviously gone a long way and been a huge part of American culture. It's also a scene that sort of inspired the "Welcome to Colorado" sign on the Kansas-Colorado border, which is here. So this is a picture of it in winter, and it says, if you can't read it, it says, "Welcome to colorful Colorado." So the same inspiration that was able to create, one of the sort of fundamental pieces of American culture also created this sign, which is a complete failure. And so no matter how valid the inspiration that you have for a product or for something that you're trying to come up with, it's not always going to work. And in the time that I've been with Intela, we've launched a lot of products and had a lot of failures. And we've had some successes, and the successes have been very successful. So what you need to take away is that part of the process is to understand that a lot of the stuff that you're going to try is going to fail, and in order to have a better chance of success, you need to factor that into your equation when you're building a process to launch sites successfully. So here's a list, and sort of, since I started making the products at Intela, what we've tried and what's worked. So we're just under 90-10 for our ratio of successes or failures to successes. So while that doesn't seem great, the successes have made it well worth the effort. So taking that into consideration, you build a process that is going to mitigate risk, to encourage experimentation and to get a lot of products out there, so you have a better chance of finding that product that's actually going to work. So there's sort of three pieces to that. The first one is predefine your success metrics, and we'll dig into each one of these more granularly. But predefining your success metrics is basically saying, why am I doing this website? Like, what's my goal? And what type of website is this? Because that there's a marketplace, that there's a finite amount of traffic out there, and publishers are going to run what they're going to run based on whatever's best for them. There's no sort of loyalty there. So figure out what it is that makes a product a success, what makes it a success for you, and then sort of set that as your benchmark. Second step is iterate through ideas. You need to create a lean process that gets sites out quickly and gets them out in a way that doesn't waste a lot of effort in case it doesn't work. We know that most things aren't going to work, so if we get things out and let consumers tell us what works, then we save a lot of time and money. And finally, accelerating failure. We know that products are going to fail, so we need to figure out and learn trends and patterns and what a failure looks like, so that we don't continue to waste time and effort on products that just aren't going to work. So success metrics. The first part, like I said, was defining what the website's for. Depending on what your business is and what your goals are, you might want to be building a website to generate data. You might be wanting a new revenue stream. Maybe the traffic that you have makes offers come up and down, and that makes it difficult for the way that you buy traffic. There's a bunch of different reasons why you want to build websites. You know why they are, and those sort of reasons will change whether or not your website will work. So even if you go out and say, okay, well, these guys have a website that I run traffic to, I can easily copy that website and I can take the margin off of that too. It's not always going to work because they might be building it for a different reason than what you need it for. The second part of it is competitive analysis. You basically want to define the competitive landscape. So if you know that you're going to buy clicks, EDU clicks for whatever amount, and the next best offer is generating this amount of revenue on those clicks, you have to be in that same range on your product, or you're not going to get any traffic. There's price elasticity for traffic in these things, and if your offer is just below the next best offer, you're going to get a significant portion less traffic than you would if it was at least competitive. So the amount of performance that you're going to need, off the impression, off the click, off the conversion, like all those things have to feed in so you can figure out how much money do you have to make on the back end of your website in order to pay for that traffic and pull a margin or pull whatever it is that you need to keep your site up, which you define in the first step there. Once you have that defined, you want to start kind of jumping into the process. What we do at Intela is we'll come together in a group. We'll get kind of everybody involved in, from different areas of the company and basically brainstorm on ideas within the framework that we've defined. And we try to keep it as creative as possible and real positive. If someone comes up with an idea, we always just sort of talk about like what we can do to make it better and what we like about the idea and stuff like that, so people stay real creative. Out of that, we'll all sort of collectively agree on which ideas are worth pursuing, and then we'll move those ideas from that brainstorming process into more of a development type phase. This is the phase where I think most products sort of die. I think it's pretty typical that people have a great idea for a website, and then they say, we're gonna front load all this design. We're gonna make a full-featured portal with everything you could ever want. It's gonna have content and this, that, and the other, and it's gonna be everything of this vertical. And you spend all this time and money and preparation and man hours putting this website together, and you have no idea if it's gonna work. So you launch it, and it could completely fail, and you spend all this time and just for nothing, really. So what we focus on is more of a prototype type of scenario where we want to take the idea, strip it down to the most basic sort of version of the idea that we can, and get it pushed out fast and cheap. We want to emphasize sort of speed over perfection because until we know what consumers really want, we're just guessing, and those guesses cost a lot of money. So once we have that prototype finished, we'll push it out for live traffic. We're a publisher internally, so that's really easy for us, but there's other places you can get traffic, and you can buy small amounts of traffic and test. And basically what you want to do is when you get that traffic, you want to take all the sort of analytical ability that you have, whether you're using sort of analytical software, you'll have revenue numbers from the back end of your website, you'll have sort of publisher style statistics that you can look at and pull all that stuff together after you get the traffic and basically overlay it against your success metrics that you defined before. right? So let's say, for example, you have 8 different success metrics that you define. You run the traffic to it, and you have the new 8 sort of actuals. You want to overlay those and figure out where you broke down. So if you hit it directly on in 8 for 8, then great, and come work for Intela because we could use that. But most products are not going to hit it 8 for 8, right? So let's say you hit 5 of 8, which would be great. You know exactly where to focus on. You have 3 of 8 success metrics that you didn't hit. So maybe it was your monetization on the back end was good, but your conversions were bad. So the ECPMs for your publishers didn't work out. So instead of focusing more on the monetization and trying to up the payout, the easiest way would be to focus on your conversions, right? So you get the conversions in your landing page working better. You're pumping more through your site. The pixel's firing more for your publishers. They're happy. You've already got the monetization working, and now your site is making a lot more sense. But if you don't have those consumer metrics to take a look at and to compare against your actuals or your success, if you don't have your actuals to compare to your predefined success metrics, then you don't know if you're focusing in the right areas. So basically, that's how it goes. And then you compare them, and then you take those into your next meeting and say, okay, well, we broke down in this area. Let's brainstorm on ideas of how to fix this. And then you iterate through that again, continually keeping it sort of simple ideas that can be executed quickly. Finally, accelerating failure. The idea of this is kind of odd, but basically the idea is that failure is okay. It's a natural part of the process, and the only part that's not okay is when you make the same mistakes over and over. So if you can figure out what it is that made that product not successful, and you can sort of discuss it within the group, within everybody who was associated in pushing the product out or designing the product initially, then your chances of making that mistake again are significantly less. So our ratio is 90-10. We want to get to 80-20 or 70-30 or 60-40. The idea is that you constantly evolve the process by accelerating that failure, by saying early on in the brainstorming, no, that's not going to work. We tried that on this product, and we already know that's not possible. So the faster you can fail, and the faster you can understand that something's not worth working on, then the more products you'll push out, and the more successes you'll have. So the challenge is to sort of go out and try and create something new. That's why everybody's an affiliate, right? Or an advertiser. So if you come up with an idea in a vertical that you have experience with, just try to build your own product. Define the metrics that you need to hit. Look around at other networks, other similar offers, and build a version of that page, whether it's a one-page site or just a simple version, something you can do quickly. Get a little bit of traffic on it. Take the values of that traffic, compare them against what you spent, figure out where you broke down if you did, and then iterate. And I think if you do it like that, then you'll have a good chance of building successful websites. That's the end of my slides. Does anybody have any questions that I can answer? Yeah. We're an online lead generation company. We do a lot of international websites and traffic. Our affiliate network is Crisp Ads, and we're an email publisher.
What do you recommend as an analytics tool beyond Google Analytics if you're doing really flat tests, like pages without a lot of depth?
I mean, we use Google Analytics just because it's free. Yeah. I know there's a lot of other good products out there, but most of the analytics stuff that we focus on is sort of back-end conversion metrics that aren't as well supported by those products. So we focus on pretty heavily on ECPMs on the back end of products. We track impressions to conversions on just about every product. We track retention rates, and all that stuff is proprietary on our system. But if you're looking for those types of things, you could talk to the Omnitures and those companies of the world, and I'm sure that they have something.
When you say set a small budget, how much is a small budget, and where would you use it?
I think it depends on the company. If you're a small affiliate, maybe a small budget's a couple $100. If you're a big company and the project's at a bigger scale, maybe it's $20,000. It all depends up to you and sort of where your expertise is for where you get that traffic.
Well, I was going to say the biggest problem with a couple $100 on Google is you got to come out of the gate with a lot more than a couple $100 to get any action. So if you wanted to test something for a couple $100, do you have any sense of where you might go to do that?
If it was a couple $100, I'd probably test it on somewhere like Google or one of the affiliate networks. But if I did it on Google, I'd buy like long tail stuff instead of. You basically want to get enough clicks where it's statistically significant enough that you're not like, oh well, I got one conversion, so it must be good. If you can get 2,000 clicks off your $200, it's a lot better than getting 100 like higher quality ones.
What do you think the minimum clicks would be for reasonable sense?
We use ECPM, so 1,000 impressions is the minimum before we'll make a decision about anything. I think 1,000's pretty good, but I think you can do more or less as long as you're sort of not always looking for a benchmark that says, okay, 500's perfect. But if you're testing, for example, if you're testing someone who says their clicks are going to be a higher quality, then you should be able to convert 500 clicks as well as 1,000 off of something that has a perceived lower quality of traffic. So you got to kind of take everything on a case-by-case basis. But the more that you can get and the more that's within your budget, I think the better off you'll have on being able to say this is or isn't a good decision. Did you?
No, it's kind of along the same lines. I was curious if you could talk a little bit about the traffic sources that you use. I know you touched on Google, but other traffic sources.
Yeah, we use. We're an email publisher, so we use a lot of email, especially in our testing process. And then we have an affiliate network, so we work with other big affiliate networks too, and we anything from some display, social media. We'll pretty much try every kind of traffic we can get, and the thing that we've sort of learned is that as long as you're on top of your metrics, like you can pretty much make any kind of traffic work. It's just that you have to track it all really discreetly because you can't put social media and email and display in the same bucket and try to pull out lessons out of that because there's nothing there. It'll just blend everything together and you don't know how to price the traffic.
What's your ratios or your percentages to determine how to proceed from number 6? Like if you're using 1,000 impressions as your cutoff, or in general.
I think.
Go back to the mean.
I think the question is, if you're using 1,000 impressions, how do you decide if it's time to sort of cut your losses or to try again? And I think the question is, how close were you on those 1,000 impressions, right? Like if you were close enough that you think you can make a change, and that 1,000 impressions.
What's the rate you're talking about being close to?
It depends on your level of tolerance. If you have a $10,000 budget and those 1,000 clicks cost you $100, you've got plenty of room left, right? So you can try a few different things, but if you spent $5,000 of your $10,000 budget and you made $500, you might want to think about not spending another $5,000, right? And try just a different version of your product. I guess that's time, but if you have another question, I'd be happy to talk afterwards.